Well, hello everyone. Look, I'm here with another one of my new certified Streetsmart business advisors, Mark Burkhardt, and I've asked him to share his journey with us on how he ended up being here with us today at the Sofitel Fiji, and the, I guess, circumstances and the processes that have ended up with him sitting here having this conversation with us right now. And I do appreciate you sharing your time with us today. I mean,
Yeah, my pleasure.
Fiji, how nice is this? It's unbelievable, isn't it?
One of the most wonderful places I've been to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Very relaxing, beautiful place. Yeah.
It is. And I like to bring my students here. A lot of people say, why do you come to Fiji? Well, tell me, how, when you came here, did you feel like it's a different world? Did you sort of feel like you've left a certain world behind so you can focus on a new one? You tell me, because that's why I bring people here.
Yeah, so when I first was told that we were going to Fiji, I really didn't have real comprehension of what it was going to be like. In all honesty, I was pretty heavily involved in work at the time, and probably a little bit anxious, a bit nervous about actually coming, to be honest, and knowing that I had a whole heap of work ahead of me and responsibilities that come with that, and yeah, it all coming to a head. So I was quite nervous about that, but yeah, actually once I arrived here, and within a day, everything just changed. I mean, I just started to relax and I was able to really focus on what I'm doing here. Really live the moment. I think that's probably the right
live in
word.
the moment, exactly. Yeah. And life will go on when you get back, won't it? So,
Most definitely,
yeah.
most definitely.
So Mark, you you came into our environment not that long ago, and you're you're an engineer. That's your profession, and you're very good as well. I understand that you've got a very important role in the company that you have. You manage quite a number of people, and quite a large organisation looks to you for advice and solutions. Now, I'm curious, with a great, I guess, as many people would consider it, a wonderful career like that. What prompted you, and how did you end up getting into the Streetsmart world and get into my business school, for example? What actually ended up happening to make that occur?
I mean, I did enjoy my job as an engineer. I'm kind of blessed, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not a hard work, physical hard labour or anything like that. I pretty well, work reasonably flexible hours. However, I've worked there for a very long period of time, and I did feel very much contained. Even though I am doing some activities I enjoy, I felt pretty much controlled. I thought there was more to life than that. I thought I would really like to live life on my terms rather than someone else's terms. I also I found my work quite political, and there was a real crux or a catalyst to my circumstances. My mother passed away last year, and obviously that was a turning point for me. I realised she was a very, very good woman. One of the things I didn't realise is, you only live life once, and then it's over. It's so quick. So I wanted to do something. I wanted to live life to its fullest, and like I said, live it on my terms. To add to that was when I actually came back after a few weeks leave. There was a lot of politics in the office, and and I actually was put in quite an uncomfortable position straight away. After dealing with all that stress, and it really hit home to me. I realised, all this energy I'm focusing and putting into something really means nothing very, very quickly. And I didn't really want to live life like that. And I decided that I was going to take a path, something that was my true love and passion, which for me is horse racing. And I decided to do whatever it takes to actually go ahead with that.
And you started a horse racing syndication business.
I started a
correct?
horse racing syndication company and bought a couple of very well-bred horses, and applied all the systems in order to acquire them. And that started my journey. Yeah.
So you said, okay, I'm going to start this business. I know a lot about horses. I know how to pick fantastic horses. And for the record, that'd be lovely. Yes, thank you. For the record, you, I guess you thought when you started the business that if you choose good horses and they're there for people, naturally people will come, they will buy. Is that sort of an expectation?
So definitely, this is one of the challenges I learned very, very quickly was, I'm an engineer by trade, been an engineer all my life, and there's always been a demand for myself and my skill set. But I learned very quickly that when you're trying to sell a quality product at a very high price, which a lot of people would consider a risk, that's a whole different ball game. And I know I'm not just talking about the sales part, I'm also talking about the business part. So I really went into an industry that I wasn't very familiar with, and that certainly presented a lot of challenges to me.
Well, to be fair, you were familiar with the actual technical side. You know how to choose spectacular horses, and for the record, there's every chance that I'll be buying a share in one of his horses, ladies and gentlemen. But the thing that you weren't aware of is the business side, how to find a client, how to make a sale, how to... So you then enlisted, I believe, a marketing organisation to help you with that. Is that correct? How did that go for you?
So, I decided I was going to outsource my issue, or the areas where my skill sets weren't strong, which was sales, and I decided to, and lead generation, I decided to hire out a marketing company, which pretty well assured me that they were very capable of delivering service to me. What compounded the issue was my lack of understanding of business, not setting KPIs and doing a whole heap of other areas of issue, which compounded a massive issue for myself. Yeah.
And so he actually, if you like, was giving you advice, and he actually told you to start an open day, I think you said to me. And when I first had the conversation with you, I still remember very clearly, Mark. I was just asking you some questions because I don't go knocking competitors if they're not here to defend themselves, or just don't do it. But the answers you were giving me was quite frankly scaring the crap out of me, is the only technical term I can think of for it, where I'm asking you, well, okay, you're paying him all this money, what are the returns that you're getting? And then you mentioned, well, I'm doing an open day. I said, okay, so what's the strategy of your open day? Tell me the process. And you didn't have any answers for me. And I asked you, well, how many sales have you made? And you said, well, I don't know, what was that? Tell me what happened there.
So, yeah, I had made one sale up to that point in time.
So what was that sale? How much was that for?
$7,100 that was.
And how much had you paid the marketing company to help you?
At that stage, I was probably up to $17,000, which eventually ended up over $20,000.
$20,000?
Yeah, up to $25,000 I think I paid.
Really?
Over that period, yeah.
And I'm just curious, that open day that he set you up for and he said for you to do, how did that pan out on the day? What was the experience?
Well, I mean, absolutely, he let me down. He worked on a lot of features which I understand now in marketing, which I didn't. He worked on scarcity and urgency. He told me, he basically built me up and said, that's all going to come through the open day. Don't worry, I'll be bringing X and Y people to the, you'll be fine. And an open day is where you sell all your horses.
Right.
Just keep paying us up to that point. Don't worry about how we're going in Google AdWords, things like this. And look, on the day, very little structure. I have to be held accountable for that. Yes, I was relying upon him, but
again, yes and no, because everyone, ladies and gentlemen, is responsible for what occurs in their life. So I'm not deduction, but on the other side, if you're paying a professional, they should give you guidance on what to do, how to set things up, what the sale process is, how to actually communicate with someone, give you that system to follow so that you don't look like a goose when you're there in front of other people. Yeah. Did he give you anything like that?
No, very, very limited. Very, very limited information, and certainly didn't help me execute on the day. I was there well and truly beforehand. And
how did you feel while you're running around with all these people?
Well, probably haven't told you the whole story, but it got worse. I actually had my speech, which I had prepared probably for a week before.
Yeah.
We had a discussion about public speaking. At that stage, I wasn't. Certainly not well versed at all in public speaking. I did as good as I could. I did a couple of courses, what I could find online, and it actually came to the moment, and I froze.
Did you really?
I froze. and I'm not talking about 10 seconds, I'm talking a good 30 seconds.
Right.
And the trainer at the time, to his credit, we quickly pulled the horses
Yeah.
out and get them moving to see, and then I actually
Loosened up and started
loosened up
talking
a
about.
bit. And it really, in the end, it was pressure. It was pressure and it was emotion because, you know, everything was coming to a head at this particular moment, and to understand, you know, I have a real belief in what I'm selling, and I knew how important that was to deliver, and I put too much on board, yeah.
Yeah, and look, you're not Robinson Crusoe, because again, the same thing happened to me when I first got up my first time doing public speaking. I froze, ladies and gentlemen, so he probably was a lot better than I was when I first got up and did my thing. And but to your credit, now I actually hold to a large degree the marketing company responsible for this, because if you were under my wing, I would have done my best to prepare you. I would have done my best to desensitise you and give you a clear structure to follow, a system to follow. Now, but to your credit, mate, how much did you learn by getting out there and doing that? Did you?
Look,
So from that perspective,
in all honesty, it was probably the best $25,000 I spent in my life. I'll be honest and say that now, because, I mean, even before that, even though I was getting pushed to this, I haven't stopped. Been studying absolutely everything I can get my hands on. I've read just about every book I can find on marketing, and from a person that had nothing, I think I'm starting to get an idea. One of the challenges I had, even up to that point, was I have a lot of material in my head. I had a lot of knowledge about different techniques. I had no idea about execution, and that was the other problem that I later developed, probably for a couple of weeks going forward. Yeah, that was the other issue. I had knowledge, but didn't know how to structure and execute, and what I should prioritise.
so how did you find out about me, Mark? How did you find out about Streetsmart Business School?
Well, one of those 20 odd books that I was reading. Like I said, I'm a voracious reader. Look, I've been saying this, you know, to myself. This is the fight of my life. Literally, it was. It was, you know, I was $300,000 down, and actually, it wasn't just $300,000 because there's training for these horses. If I don't sell these horses, there's ongoing expensive, you know, two horses, full training, six grand. So
you were pretty close to the edge at the time, were you? I didn't.
no,
I wasn't.
I have cash flow to back myself, but I was very uncomfortable. I still inwardly believe in myself. I believe
You knew to come through in the end.
I back myself, and that's probably at that. The other thing I probably haven't explained here is when I was reliant upon another person to deliver me a service and it wasn't coming. This put incredible pressure on myself, stress on myself, because it's not something I can control, and I'm not seeing results. That was even more painful. Yeah, and this is what led me to, you know, doing anything I could to try to make myself independent.
So where did you find my book?
I found your book in Dimmicks. So,
okay.
You know, like I said...
Thank you, Dimmicks. I appreciate it. Well done.
So it was Dimmicks Burwood, in the Westfield Plaza at Burwood.
Yeah.
Anyone sees that knows Burwood?
I remember that. Yes, I used to go there. So if you're not aware of my book, The Inconvenient Truth About Business Success. You know, ask for it, guys. I'm told it's a good read. And so you read that and then you contacted me, correct?
I did. I did. I mean, actually, I love the book because I felt a lot of things personally towards myself. You know, I could see what you were going through, Ian. You're talking about your public speaking. You mentioned your background being from the military. It just all led to each other. I thought I was probably in a similar probably wasn't in as tough circumstance, but could easily have gone to those levels.
Yeah. And then we had the conversation, and so you enrolled in business school.
Yeah.
Now, from there, you started to learn my Streetsmart principles on what I believe is the right way to approach business. Yeah. And so then what was the impact on your horse business from there when you started applying these Streetsmart strategies?
Yeah. So to confirm, I learned a lot of principles, didn't really know how to weigh up what actual techniques were, you know, ideal ones to use and when to use them. I went to business school and that was just enlightening. any particular time there was an availability at business school, whether it was online, otherwise I just dropped everything and went there.
That's what I admire about you. You haven't missed anything. Anything I've got on, you're there. You know.
I mean, the value in that is just unbelievable. To me, it's incredible. And yeah, I started to break things down. The school that we did in Melbourne is probably the most concise piece of information during the period that I've ever received, I think.
Thank you.
That's the way, talking about systems, for me at that particular time, that was exactly what I needed. And I had a lot of aha moments, and that's when things
came together for you.
Yeah.
And so I think you mentioned within the next 6 weeks some pretty cool things started to happen.
Absolutely.
So what occurred then?
So yeah, I started to focus my time. Time was probably that was one of the critical points that I really needed to focus on and get right. Was, I'm an engineer, so I'm pretty good at building websites. I'm good at doing graphic displays, and I like doing it. So, however, that's very time consuming, and probably when it comes to starting up a business and getting customers, it's not a great thing. I mean, if you look on the prioritisation of things, I was spending a good 70% of my time doing activities, probably not
High-end activities.
So that was one of the big takeaways for me. And then I started to really focus my energy, take the plunge, cold calls, lead anything I could do to bring customers in, and made a lot of mistakes along the way, still making a lot of mistakes, but I'm starting to form a plan that works for me, for my character, and which has had a lot of guidance from Ian and the Streetsmart and their systems. But this is when my business started to turn around. In conjunction to that, I did some copywriting. I've read a lot of copy over the last couple of months. Still not perfect, but I've seen incredible differences there. So probably my main focus was lead generation, building up a database and communicating to it regularly.
Okay.
And building their confidence. Yeah.
And what was the result of that when you actually started learning the right way to do it? What was the result financially for you?
Well, literally, I had a professional company working for me. It was about 5 months in. I had one sale. I generated $7,100. Since in about 2 to 3 months with the school and applying the knowledge I had, and then refining that and working with Streetsmart School, at this stage, I'm only about, can't believe it, I'm about 30% away from selling both horses. So 20% left in one and about 5% in the other. It's actually less, but that's just, it's incredible.
Spectacular, isn't
it?
So what's that, around 150, 160?
Well over that. So,
over that.
I'm over, probably over 200 grand mark now. I've easily 220, 230 I've put away in the last 3 months. So,
and really, are you really any smarter inside? Are you now Einstein? Did you get some massive epiphany from God?
In fact, I'm not a super smart guy. I try hard.
Oh, I don't know about that, but there's nothing super extraordinary IQ-wise about either of us, is there?
Definitely.
It's simply having the right knowledge and the right systems.
Right.
So now that brings you to what prompted you then? I mean, obviously you're now gone from no sales to 220 within a couple of months. Now, what then prompted you to then want to join the Business Advisor program?
Well, what resonated with me the most? Well, 2 things. One, horse racing is a very good business and a syndication business, and I always will do that and love that. And the maths is not too bad, but the administration is very difficult. I can see as I scale this business up, it's going to be quite time consuming, and it's going to take a long period of time to do. Yeah. So I'm starting to plan in my mind the best way of constructing this, and that would be setting it up as an elite club. That's what I intend to do. I want to set that up. Let's call it the Centurion Club. Focus. Yeah. Well, I won't take those words, but
it's fine. It's fine.
Maybe a top 100, yeah.
And okay, and that's a very wise thing to do as well. So just deal with the right ideal client, correct? Yeah. So okay, so now we're now at the end. You are certified as a business advisor.
Yeah.
And
I probably didn't answer the question if I may, but the main reason what drew me to business advisor school was, well, number one, I had all the confidence because of what's
past
the
experience.
transformation just recent. So I had a huge advantage by being at the school first and going through the activities and seeing results.
Yep.
And yeah, there was no doubt in my mind. I completely trust him. He has a great integrity, and I had no doubt if he said that this was a very good course of action to take, then I could succeed at it. But more importantly than that, what I did like about this program was it's a win-win for both people. So this is what really drew me was I could get a lot of pleasure out of helping people, and they get a lot of pleasure out of helping their business. And I have been on the other side of the picture, and I know how important that is. So to be able to help someone that was in a similar circumstance to myself, and also receive an income for that, I couldn't think of a better opportunity. Yeah.
And let's face it, what sort of income? There's a pretty good dollars involved in what we do.
Well, yeah, it's serious. The mathematics in this
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, we're much better than the horse racing. Horse racing, I have to make a huge investment up front, and then it takes a bit of time to get that back. This is a cash flow business, which it doesn't take much.
Don't need a lot of capital, do you?
Don't need much capital.
Don't have overheads, don't have...
And even more importantly than that, I think it leads off to many, many other areas of business. I mean, I think it's quite limitless with those foundation skills.
It's true. Now, just on that note, so I make 3 promises to my students when they arrive. Number one, I assure them that you're going to be able to know how to generate leads so people can inquire about your services, number one. Number two, I still say that I believe I've developed one of the most powerful sales systems on the planet. And number three, I say that I can show you how you could help nearly any business improve their results and get them quite amazing improvements in what they're doing from where they are now. So, Mark, in your opinion, you've now come to you.
Yeah, most definitely. I'd say on every one of those areas, it's comprehensive in the amount of information that it gives you, but more importantly, it's very easy to follow. It's like Dean said, it's systemised and very well broken down. So there is a lot of material and information for reference that you could utilise or access at any time, whether it's online or via the books that we're given. But it's a process path, and there's a very nice blueprint to that, which you can just step all the way through. You can pretty well, after the 4 or 5 days you've been on the island or wherever you do the course with in, you could pretty well be set, ready to run when you go back. And that to me is quite amazing, considering what you go through in the course to actually be in a position to execute. Yeah, so you're pretty well up and running straight away.
So tell me now, with the knowledge that you have, how soon do you think it might be if you put focused effort into wanting to gain a client? How long do you think it might be before you get your first client? Any thoughts?
Yeah, so, I mean, if I was totally focused just to get a client, I'm pretty sure within a week I'd get a client, no doubt about that. My focus is on trying to build, trying to make sure that I build a very, very strong service behind that. And I might give myself a couple of extra weeks, and I want quality clients. I've learnt that the hard way from my prior business or my current business. So I think, look, in regards to the costings of the course and things like that, I think it's extremely realistic to think that you'd be able to get your returns on your course within 3 months. And I think after that, pretty well sky's the limit.
So, being an engineer, having been involved now, you've got your own business, having an understanding of what you've seen others do you think that someone wanting to generate an income of, say, I don't know, let's just be conservative, $250,000 a year, how realistic do you think that would be, utilising the knowledge that you now have?
Very realistic. I can't think of any business you could walk into and be on the ground running quicker than this. I can say, in the example of my business, I'm building my own processes, I'm learning along the way. This has everything there ready for you to go. That's the key. It's better than a franchise or anything like that, because all the systems and that are written down. You can just read them off, basically. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Mark, I'm excited. I'm so look, it might sound a bit condescending, I know, but I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of the the distance that you have come in such a short time. It's really only been 4 or 5 months that you've been in my environment, and already the results are astounding, and they're just going to keep getting better and better. So congratulations.
Thank you very
I
much.
really am excited to see what happens now in the next couple of months, Mark. Well done.
It's been a pleasure. It's probably one of the best. I really have to thank Dimix, to be honest with you.
Thank Dimix. Thank you again, Dimix. Appreciate it. All right.